As we approach the possibility of another open convention or brokered convention that goes to multiple ballots, at least in the Republican side, let's look back at one of the most important brokered conventions in American history, the 1932 convention that nominated FDR for president. The Democrats had had a long history of brokered and open conventions in 1920, 24, and 28. In fact, in 1924, the roll call droned on and on and on, and Alabama would always say, Alabama cast 28 votes for Underwood, and then they'd move on and on to each of the other candidates, not Frank Underwood. So people were anxious to avoid that in 32. The 32 contest basically was between Al Smith and FDR, both New Yorkers, both governors. Smith retired to make way for Roosevelt in 1928, and Roosevelt put Smith's name in nomination in 28. But then when Roosevelt wanted the nomination in 32, Smith was bitter about that, and they had a tough fight with each other. Smith represented Tammany Hall, New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, the Northeast. Roosevelt had a coalition of the West, the Midwest, and the South, and the former Western progressives and the Southern agrarian populists and all of that. Basically, it was also a split between Catholic and Protestant, with FDR representing the Protestant and Al Smith very vigorously representing the Catholics. At the convention on the first ballot, Roosevelt got about 680 votes, but you needed 770 to be nominated, a two-thirds majority. And for 3 ballots, the race stood essentially like that, with Roosevelt getting just shy of 700, you needed 770, Smith getting about 190, and John Nance Gardner, the Speaker of the House and a favorite of the Texas delegation, getting Texas and California, coming in at about 100. And it sat there for 3 ballots. Then the Roosevelt people went to William Randolph Hearst, the newspaper publisher in California, who had tremendous power throughout the country, owned newspapers all over the nation. And he was supporting William McAdoo, who was Woodrow Wilson's son-in-law, who had contested Smith for the nomination in 28, but been defeated. And McAdoo had no chance of winning, and they persuaded Hearst to switch his support to FDR. So California went for Roosevelt. When Gardner, who was running the Texas delegation, saw that, he was going to switch too, and was put over to do that when FDR offered him the vice presidency. And Gardner, to his everlasting regret, accepted. He formally said the vice presidency isn't worth a pitcher of warm piss. He said spit, but the actual quote was piss. And with Gardner's support and McAdoo's support, the Smith forces were outvoted, and Roosevelt was nominated on the 4th ballot. So brokered and open conventions don't always result in a bad choice. Thanks for watching.